Hey everybody, Chris Lukey here with Thinking to Results. I'm here with one of my clients, Dylan Rumsey. Dylan, probably, if anybody, is probably one of my biggest transformations of all the clients I've coached after the last couple of years. A lot of people have one or two things going on in their life. Some people are doing everything right and they just need a little more income, a little more influence, want to change some things in their life. But Dylan is the epitome of true transformation, everything that Thinking to Results is all about. And he is living proof. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. Dylan, I'll let you talk about your story, but you had so many things going against you. One conversation changed your life. I believed in you, and then you believed in yourself. Your life has literally like 12x in the last year. I just want to talk about that because I'll never forget a few months ago, you sent me a text message as I check up on all my clients. And you said, "Hey, Chris, I've accomplished all the goals that I wrote down, everything we talked about, and so many great things have happened since that." I want to maybe let the audience know where your life was and what was going on prior to joining Thinking to Results and prior to you and me having a conversation.
Yeah, so prior to thinking into results, I'd probably say maybe like a year and a half before I was drowning in debt, doing a lot of drugs. I was drinking, definitely not doing anything that I was supposed to be doing properly, bouncing around different jobs. I wasn't licensed in my trade yet. I did a couple other programs. I didn't believe in any of them. I didn't like the things that they were teaching me, and I ended up getting sober. I don't drink or do drugs anymore. I started paying off all of my debt, which was kind of a struggle. I was only making maybe like 85,000. I was picking up second jobs everywhere I could find them. I was never really getting ahead, even though like I had quit doing everything. I started learning about some programs that would be similar to yours through like law of attraction, manifestation, everything along those lines. But I was learning all of this stuff on my own and it was definitely very new to me. So I kind of felt like I was going insane. And so I remember I was sitting at my second job and both you and my uncle had texted me. And my uncle had asked me to start investing into crypto with him. And you had asked me to join the Thinking into Results program. And I remember I had left my job that day. And I think I talked to you a day or two after. And obviously I ended up joining.
What was it, Dylan? Because obviously, just by your testimonial already, like you were in a tough state of financially, mentally, physically, everything. And then what made you at least just sit down and have a conversation with me? And what made you ultimately say yes?
I think I would mostly relate it to my swim. I can relate a lot of the stuff that you teach in your program to the things that I was trying to teach myself through doing a swim. I just didn't know how to put any of it into words. So obviously I swam 10 kilometers without my hands tied the first year.
Wow.
And then I did it again the second year with my hands tied. And I was trying to get a message out. I didn't really know what it was. But your program pretty much put all of my thoughts that I couldn't put together into one. So when I started following your TikToks and your Instagrams and your Facebooks, I was like, this is exactly what I have been trying to tell people. I'm not going crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess like surrounding myself with the program and the people that are in it, plus having it all written out for me, it was definitely a little bit more reassuring.
Right. Because you were trying to do all this stuff by yourself.
Yeah, it was pretty stressful. Like I was kind of just like relearning life almost, to put it in
Right.
simplest terms.
Honestly, it's true transformation. It almost is a rebirth, isn't it? Because it awakens you, right?
Yeah, 100%. I had no idea what was going on. I was kind of freaking out.
We sat several times in a coffee shop for hours on end, just talking about things. You know, it really goes to show you. And I said, Dylan, not only you're not just joining thinking, you're joining a community of support of like-minded people. Maybe if you can just talk about the support and the people in the program, and everybody's in the same spot. Like you think, how many times have you thought I'm the only one going through this, right? And then you realize you're
Yeah,
up on a Thinking to Results call and there's several other people on the call, some older, some younger. We're all just supporting each other, no matter who you are, where you come from. Everybody's working towards a common goal. So just maybe you want to talk about the support as well.
yeah. So I read a quote It was like you're the sum of the five people you hang out with the most. And that is probably one of the most powerful things with the program. Like I'll still chime in. I always read through the messages every day.
Yeah.
So like if I were to like get down on myself, I can kind of just like catch wind of what somebody else is doing and then pick myself back up again.
We record all the calls, and if you couldn't be on a call, you and I had a lot of calls off the online recordings or events as well. So you and I spoke kind of offline several times too. When I tell people you become the sum of the five people you hang out with, and proximity is power, you didn't come from the best environment, the best background. Like you had everything stacked against you, and the people you were hanging out with were trying to pull you back, weren't they?
Yeah, I would agree. Maybe whether or not they realized it or not, but I pretty much like reshaped my entire life. Like I cut out every single distraction I could think of, and
Yeah.
I was just done with it.
You changed
And
your
then I
identity. And that's what we focus a lot on. We tell people it's not what you do or your strategy or your tactics and all these struggles and all the hard work. It's about the person that you have to become. And through our conversations, I know deep down inside, there was a Dylan that wanted to come out, who wanted to do more, be more, have more. You were just screaming for someone just to help you. And I saw that in you. And we automatically connected because we had a bit of a relationship through mutual friends. But maybe you could just talk a little bit more about being surrounded with the right people. How important is that?
Yeah, it's definitely very important. You could easily talk yourself out of it if you didn't have that group.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I was mostly doing before I joined it. Because like I would like pick something, get on a path, and like I would start following all these like different things that I've never experienced before. It would freak me out, I'd shut it down. And then I kept going, shutting it down, and it was just back and forth.
Yeah.
So then when you surround yourself with that, you can kind of just feed off of everything, and like he's doing the same thing I'm doing, he's experiencing this, you can just relate and then carry on.
And I want people to know, like a lot of people say, well, like, they're using time as an excuse. Dylan was literally hopping on calls during his lunch hour, during his breaks. He was be sitting in his car. So really, there's no excuse why you can't get on these calls, and it really is there because you made it happen, right?
Yeah, there's definitely no excuse to not make time for the calls.
You sent me that text a few months ago. I check up on all my clients, and let's talk about some of your biggest breakthroughs. You kind of mentioned where your finances were. I'll let you kind of maybe in stages talk about what started happening for you, the jobs, the money. Let's go through some of your biggest breakthroughs.
So when I first joined my bank account, I'm pretty sure I had $600. It was the
Wow.
first time my bank account had been positive in like 3 years. I told myself I wouldn't go back into debt, and instead of doing that, I ended up paying you off with my credit card. And I joined the program, but I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months after that I got my mechanic's license. I got a raise. I paid off every piece of debt that I had. I started investing in homing accounts, RSP accounts. I learned got a whole bunch of different financial advice. I ended up leaving my job. I was working for a garbage truck fleet in St. Catharines as a mechanic. And I ended up leaving there, and I got an opportunity to go to Yellowknife to do the ice roads, which doubled my wage. So I ended up going out there as a camp job. I was doing 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I finished the ice roads in January, February, March, and April. And 2 months after that, I flew to Australia.
So let's talk about that because you sent me a text message to Chris. All my goals have accomplished. I've doubled my income. I'm on my way to tripling my income. And now I think I've got another opportunity where I'm going to head to Australia and even increase my income even more. Just like, how crazy is that compared to where you were a year ago?
Yeah, I definitely never would have thought of it tripling, because I remember I laughed at myself when I wrote down the wage and I had no idea how it was going to happen. And then within 6 months, I did end up doubling the income. And then while I was up in Yellowknife, I almost tripled it,
Wow.
just below. But also everything I asked for in a company as well, I got with it,
Wow.
which I never would have expected either.
And you can you can see I always knew you're a confident guy, but now I think you're performing, you're like with clarity, with confidence, with passion, like your life, your mindset has just changed so much compared to where your mindset was because you come from a very tough spot even just a couple short years ago. everything was stacked against you, and in a matter of 6 months, like you literally had a quantum leap, right?
Yeah.
So listen, let's talk about your life now, man. Like you mentioned some of your goals, some of your wages. You're living in Australia now. Couldn't have pictured that a year ago. How is your life so much different now, and kind of what's next?
Well, my life now, I guess I was more looking for like a freedom lifestyle when I was writing out all the things I wanted.
Yep.
I'm saving for a house for later. That's all good. Now, living in Australia, I live for free. My company flies me back and forth from camp. I have a 24/7 gym, putting range, full food service, laundry service, housekeeping. Everything's paid for me. When I go off of my work, I'll stay in hotels, Airbnbs, jump out of airplanes, travel
Gee,
the coastline of Australia.
wow.
I literally just do whatever I want. I can go to
Yeah.
Thailand, I go to Philippines.
Wow. Yeah. You know
So
what?
yeah, it's
Let's
pretty
talk
cool.
about, you mentioned like a year and a half, 2 years ago, you had $600 in your bank account. Actually, you were broke, and then you
Yeah.
managed to save $600, and then you reach out to me. It's a significant investment. So many people are scared to make the investment because they think it's an expense, but really it's an investment in you, your life. And I tell people, like, don't look at the purpose of an investment isn't an expense. The purpose of an investment is to gain, whether you're gaining something in your life, mental freedom, financial freedom, health, wealth. Just talk about, like, initially, if you were scared to make the investment, and what would you tell people now who might be on the fence of thinking they should do it or not?
I would just look at like how society works and people waste their money on a lot worse things. People dumping their money into drugs, dumping their money into bars, dumping their money into eating out,
Yeah.
financing cars they can't afford, doing like nonsense stuff. So the 5 grand for me, like I wanted to like experience something that I'm gonna like hold on to. I'm gonna have it forever. I have the book forever. I have all this knowledge forever. And now it's just up to me on whether or not I'm gonna apply it. But you
Yeah.
can. It's literally just like an endless opportunity.
Yeah. And I
You
tell
could read the
people,
book and do absolutely nothing, but it's
right,
gonna be stuck inside and imprinted inside your head.
right.
And I don't really see it possible for nothing to happen once you've learned everything that is taught within the program. Too
Yeah,
many different possibilities is gonna make your mind race.
right. Yeah. But I tell people that it's an investment for life. And I often tell people who are on the fence, I say, look around in your house right now. Look at your garage. Look at all the things that you bought that you probably don't even use, you haven't seen. You probably got clothes that still have tags on them. How many TVs do you need? And I said, if you looked around, you probably spent more than 10 grand on all the junk lying around your house. And like you
Yep.
mentioned, this is an investment for life that never goes away. And it's repeatable. And you can join back in the program if you're ever stuck. You can hop on a call. You can call me, the access to me, which, like you're in Australia and we still keep in touch. And if you're stuck, we work through things. Or I'll tell you, I say, hey, go listen to lesson 2 again. Right. So it's pretty powerful when you have an investment for life and invest in yourself. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another good part of the program is like, yeah, like the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So when you're dumping all of this stuff into your head, like while I'm sleeping or while I'm sitting around at work, like eventually, like I'll just start acting on things without even really realizing what I'm doing. And then the next thing I know, I'm getting phone calls from Australia saying, come join us.
You were in, now we talk about this because your thoughts create a feeling and your feelings create, and that feeling is a vibration. And we talk about the laws of the universe, that whatever you put out, you get back. And because you were in a completely different, like the vibration you were in when I met you was a complete disaster. And then you got in alignment with what you wanted, you visioned your future, and all of a sudden now the thoughts and vibrations that you were putting out, stuff just started coming in naturally, didn't it?
Pretty much. I didn't really have to do that much for it.
Isn't that
You
wild the
just
way
have
it
to walk
works?
through the door when it's open.
It's crazy how it works, isn't it, when you really put yourself in the right frame of mind. So many people live by their current circumstances and their current results, and I tell people you have to come from the goal achieved. Don't be caught up in your past. You had every reason to be caught up in your past and your current results, but you literally designed a life for you, didn't you?
Yeah, I refuse to take anything else.
I tell people you can create life by design. You can live life by design or life by default, and you chose to live life by design, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, like just tell like how, and people think it's hard. And I said, you know what? If you got 1 hour a day, instead of scrolling, instead of watching TV, instead of doing nothing, tell people like, I don't want to say it's easy because you do have to put in a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, but let's just talk about, it's not that difficult either, is it?
No, like there is like first joining and first learning, it could definitely be like a little bit stressful. Like I could definitely see that trying to figure yourself out in your day-to-day routine and
Yeah.
breaking a bunch of stuff to make room and then trying to like interpret everything from the program. But once you start joining it and once you start hearing different thought patterns and different experiences, and eventually you're going to pick up on something that you find interesting, and then it's just going to become a part of your day because you're going to be intrigued enough that, oh, I wonder what's going on in the next one and wonder what's going on in the next one, and then it just barrel rolls.
Yeah. And each lesson really stacks on top of each other. It's amazing. Just when you think you had a breakthrough in lesson 2 or 3 and we move on to lesson 4, it's like every lesson, people are just amazed at the stacking of the breakthroughs, right? They just, week after week, stuff's happening and people don't even know how or why, right?
Right.
It's crazy how you just keep stacking the breakthroughs. You thought you had a great week last week, and it's like, oh my God, this lesson was so powerful. I had another breakthrough.
Yeah. Another like cool thing about it is like you can kind of just like upgrade your personality and like who you are as a person from the stuff that you're learning as well.
Right. And I tell people, like, and we mentioned this earlier, when you start surrounding yourself with people who've done it or doing what you want to do, it changes the game, doesn't it? Like, they think differently, they act differently, they speak differently, they support you differently. It's so powerful being in that community, isn't it?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So, what would you say to anybody who might be on the fence? What would you say to anybody who is in a tough spot right now? Like I mentioned earlier, most people have 1 or 2 things they need to work on. 1 or 2 things it might be their income, it might be their relationship, they might just be stuck. You had all of those plus more. And for where you were a year and a half ago to where you are now, what would you say to people about the program, about joining? Like, what's your biggest, best advice you can give somebody who might be on the fence or thinking about making a change in their life? And is it even possible?
Well, everything is definitely possible. I don't know how, but it is. But I would say like in like today's world, we get pumped full of like so many different opinions and information.
Yeah.
And not having like something baseline set for you, you're gonna keep going down roads and get shut down until like something is like written down in the program and it's laid out in front of you, and then it's just like, hey, this is all you need. You're gonna do this, and this is gonna happen for you. Disregard everything else, and
Right.
you'll be all right. Because I get stuff like pumped through on my phone all the time, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, do I really even believe half of this stuff?
Right.
So it's
Right.
nice just having that all written out. It's been proven, like probably millions of people have done this program. So I would definitely just say it's definitely worth the risk. Like, I don't know, you got 70 good years to live on the world. You might as well take 5 grand and do something with it.
Yeah. And really, I talk to a lot of people and they think it's about motivation or inspiration. And, I love doing that. But this is really about true transformation. Like, it's deep inner work, isn't it, that transforms your life permanently, right?
Yeah. Like it's not even just about like business, money. It's not just about like having a nice car. Like you're going to completely change the person that you are today
Yeah.
into something 10 times better from it. So
100%. You're living proof of it, brother. And I'm so proud that you decided to have the conversation. You decided to invest in yourself. You decided, like, you created life by design. I couldn't be more proud of you. And I just want to thank you for coming into our world, like, because it's people like you who make me continue to do want to keep moving forward to help people. So any last words you want to wrap up, buddy? I really appreciate your time and efforts.
yeah, no, I think everything got covered there.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Listen, anybody thinking into results is the program. If there's something in your life, don't be afraid to reach out. Let's connect. One decision, right? You're one decision away and you're one phone call away from completely changing your life. And Dylan's proof of that.